What is up, YouTube? That's here, bringing you guys a couple more Pokemon Showdown games. Today, I'm going to be using Mega Gardevoir, Assault Vest Landorus, Life Orb Arcanine, Mental Herb, Sableye, Mega Kangaskhan, and Weakness Policy Aegislash, leading off against Pokeyamom, who's using T-Tar, Excadrill, Salamence, Rotom Grass, which is something that we don't actually see very often, but I can see how it definitely works in this team, Blaziken, and Gengar. Note that my opponent has potential 4 Megas in Tyranitar, Salamence, Blaziken, and Gengar, and we have to assume that it is Salamence, but in assuming that it is Salamence, we have to try and guess the items on the other remaining Pokemon. Gengar would most likely have a Stash, but that would kind of clash with Tyranitar, Sandstream. Blaziken would probably have a Life Orb or a Lumberry. Tyranitar, potential Weakness Policy, potential Lumberry over there. So just little things we have to pick up on. And yeah, without further ado, we're just going to start this game off, get right into it, and hopefully make some really cool plays. So, Sableye, Gardevoir being my lead of choice this game. Pretty good against Tyranitar, pretty good against Salamence, pretty good against Gengar, so it's a great lead for this game. Definitely going with Gardevoir over Mega Kang for game 1 today. And we're going to eat that Intimidate, and we're actually going to trace Sand Rush, so no Intimidate back on my opponent's Pokemon. Kind of sucks, but we are going to see both of our Megas go off. We're going to see Mega Salamence and Mega Gardevoir coming into play here. And turn 1, we're just going to see the Salamence protect, not really wanting to eat a stabbed, super effective Hyper Voice. It's just going to let me target that Excadrill slot, go for a Fake Out right there, flinching that guy. Note that he is faster than my Gardevoir, and this is a full speed Gardevoir. Gardevoir does get a lot faster after Mega Evolving, but it makes me believe that this Excadrill is Choice Scarfed. So in thinking that the Excadrill is Choice Scarf, it's going to heavily influence my turn 2. I really don't want to eat an Iron Head, so I'm just going to protect, and then we see him protect. So now he's actually boosted by the Sand Stream starting next turn, and he wasn't Scarfed, he was actually just faster than my Gardevoir pre-Mega Evolution, so that's something I could have probably picked up on. Remember, full Jolly Excadrill actually is faster than a full Timid Gardevoir, so just something to note. Overall, we got the burn on the T-Tar, and we're switching into Aegislash pretty safely. Here we go for the Willow Miss onto the Excadrill slot, and actually pick up a miss there. Kinda sucks, but there's not really that much my opponent can do, and we do see the Life Orb on the Excadrill. So like I said, he was not Scarfed. It looked like he was just full Jolly. Not really that big a deal. We're just gonna wait out these turns, get rid of the Sandstorm, let the burn take on the T-Tar, and try to apply burn on the Excadrill. So going into turn 4, we're going to see T-Tar switch out, coming back into Salamence here. I don't really know why you would switch back into Salamence versus a board like this, but we're actually going to quash the Excadrill, going to delay his move till last, and pick up a KO with that Stab Shadow Ball. So pretty good stuff here, picking up a KO on Excadrill. We're waiting out the Sandstorm, and things are definitely looking to be in my favor at this point in the game. So Tyranitar is going to come out. I'm expecting, like a Dark Pulse, a Crunch, and Assurance, maybe a Foul Play or something like that. So just got a note for that. I'm going to go for a King Shield here to potentially drop his attack even further, and go for a Priority Will-O-Wisp on that Salamence. Now both of his Pokemon are burned, and that Salamence is going to be taking burn damage and Sandstorm damage at the end of the turn. And also note that since he came back in with T-Tar this turn, he's not going to be able to send it out later to reactivate the Sandstorm. So just a little bit of info there. It's not really that big a deal, but if you're using a bunch of Pokemon like I am, like Gardevoir and Sableye, that can't really dodge the Sandstorm, it's best to note when the Sandstorm is going to run out. I mean, he doesn't really have the Excadrill anymore, but 5 turns of little chip damage at the end of each turn isn't something I want to take on Pokemon like Arcanine and Gardevoir and stuff like that. So starting off turn 6, I'm going to go for Protect with my Arcanine after getting a pretty big Intimidate on my opponent. And I know he's going for AoE moves, but I don't really want to reveal the fact that I have Wide Guard on my Aegislash yet. I go for a Shadow Ball onto that Salamence, and like I said, he's just ticking down. The burn is going to take him out. He's at 22%, Tyranitar's at 52%, and it's at this point that now I'm really going to reveal the Wide Guard. I'm going to make it so all of his AoE moves are pretty much useless and go for the Extreme Speed on Salamence. I didn't really want to eat like a Draco Meteor or something like that onto my Arcanine slot. Picking up the KO with a priority move is the correct option, and we also dodge all the damage from the Rock Slide from the Tyranitar. So it's now 3-4. My opponent has a burn T-Tar, and he's going to send his last Pokemon out, and it's going to be Blaziken here. Now we already saw the Life Orb on the Excadrill, so we have to assume that this guy probably has a Lumberry. It's probably not the Mega. That's just what we have to assume at this point. He goes for a Rock Slide with Tyranitar, and we know that is a Scarfed T-Tar at this point. So we see the overheat come up from the Blaziken. I was really expecting it to protect this turn, so I pretty much got played there. It's not really that big a deal, but like I said, Tyranitar is ticking out. So I still feel pretty confident at this point. So Gardevoir is going to come out, and remember the Scarf T-Tar and that speed boosted Blaziken are going to be the fastest things on the board for these next couple turns. I go for a Protect with my Gardevoir slot. Arcanine eats a low kick. It's not going to do a ton of damage. T-Tar goes for a Rock Slide. Remember, it is Scarfed, and it leaves my Arcanine at 22%. I don't get flinch, and I retaliate with a Life Orb Close Combat, picking up the one-hit KO on the Blaziken. Note that he wasn't sashed. That's probably on the Gengar, but even if it was, remember, Arcanine does have that extreme speed. So it's now Tyranitar versus the world, and I have two Pokemon that definitely have speed. Well, I can just wait the T-Tar. I was going to say have speed advantage. Normally they do, but I forgot that he's Scarfed. But there's nothing a 16% burned Choice Scarf Tyranitar is going to be able to do to a Gardevoir at full. So pretty good game one. I felt pretty safe. I definitely held on to my wide guard as much as possible. I could have made a better play after realizing that the Excadrill wasn't Scarfed. I could have probably just stayed in and not even switched my Gardevoir out and just quashed it. But it's fine. I felt like I played pretty good, and yeah, we're just going to go on to game two. So going into game two, we play against Pipamunzo Munoz, whatever, 23. He has a pretty good team. Another Mega Salamence team. We see Togekiss, Salamence, Excadrill again, Double Genie, and Thundurus, Landorus, and Suicune. Leading off against my same team, Gardevoir, Landorus, Arcanine, Sableye, Mega Kang, and Aegislash. We're going to start this one up. And we're going to see me lead off with Sableye. I usually like to lead with this Pokemon. I do like it a lot. And Gardevoir again. So we are going with Gardevoir over Kangaskhan in Game 2 today. Leading off against Togekiss and Landorus. So against this lead, this is going to be something that I actually don't really ever get to do that often. It's really just great against Trick Room teams and Amoonguss teams and stuff like that. So we're going to see me go Mega with Gardevoir. No reason not to here. And I'm going to go for the Fake Out on the Landorus, assuming that it is Choice Scarfed. We're going to check right after the Follow Me if it is Choice Scarfed. But we see the Togekiss go for the Follow Me. We see the Landorus flinch, which means it is Choice Scarfed. And we're going to go for the Taunt onto the Togekiss slot instead of going for the Hyper Voice. This pretty much means that Togekiss is pretty much forced to switch out, and if Landorus wants to stay in, it has to stay in and eat a potential Will-O-Wisp. So it sets up for a really good turn 2, where I get a free burn onto the Landorus, and I get a free Hyper Voice with my Gardevoir, chunking the Pokemon that switches in, Suicune in this case, and dropping Landorus all the way down to 16% before he U-turns out. So I felt that was a very, very strong turn 2, all thanks to the fact that I have Taunt on my Gardevoir. We see Togekiss come back in though, and I'm assuming that Tailwind is going to be the play here. Follow me, Tailwind. And since Sableye can't really do anything against that type of board, no real reason to burn this Togekiss, I just go for a Hyper Voice. We're going to see Suicune eat a Citrus Berry, and I switch into Aegislash here, just to potentially chunk that Togekiss next turn. Now my opponent has a Tailwind up, and we see a Snarl go off from the Suicune, and that is going to activate my Aegislash weakness policy. It's going to lower my special attack by 1 stage, but give me a +2 attack and special attack, trading back for it. So we switch out Gardevoir here. I don't really want to eat any more Snarls. It's pretty good against Gardevoir, considering it's already doing AoE damage, which is slightly nerfing its maximum damage output in the first place. So I switch Gardevoir out into Arcanine here. We see a second Snarl, so my Aegislash is going to be at neutral special attack here. I change into Blade form, and it's going to let me go for a super effective stabbed Flash Cannon onto that Togekiss, picking up the KO. Remember, my Arcanine also switched in, so I can't really intimidate anything. We're going to see the Landorus come back out there. Remember, he's only at 16% and he's burned, but he does do a pretty decent intimidate off onto my Arcanine. So, starting things off, I'm expecting my opponent to go for either a Rock Slide or an Earthquake. And I probably could have just wide guarded, but I didn't want to eat a Scald with my Aegislash. I decided to protect King Shield. We do see the Earthquake come out onto the Suicune, and this is where I think I probably could have played this turn better. Looking at what he has left, he has 3 Pokemon. They're both in the red. One is burned. I probably could have went for like an Extreme Speed Wide Guard play. I definitely probably could have pulled that off, but I didn't really want to. Remember, he still does have the Tailwind off. I'm going to switch to Sableye. All this damage I take on my Sableye and Aegislash isn't really going to be the end of the world, and I still have 4 Pokemon left at the end of it, while my opponent still has 1. Like I said, I could have went for the Extreme Speed onto the Suicune and Wide Guarded to still keep my Arcanine on the board, but if it didn't KO, I would have lost either my Arcanine or my Aegislash that turn. So I felt that it was just safe, saving all 4 and going for the standard play. I guess I would call that standard. We see Salamence come back in though. It's going to be his Mega here, and it's Salamence versus the world. He's going to put it all on Hyper Voice or Double Edge. I go for the Fake Out Shadow Ball. Now, I wasn't really expecting him to protect here. I mean, he could have, but whatever. Why wouldn't I go for Fake Out the turn I switch him with Sableye? Salamence is pretty much boned at this point. There's no way he's really going to come back. I go for a Quash delaying its move. I don't really think I could pick up the KO with the Shadow Ball, but remember I do have Arcanine in the back ready to clean this up. So he goes for the Double Edge actually, not even Hyper Voice, and Recoil is going to take him out. So pretty good game too. Like I said, I probably could have played that, I think it was turn 6 better when there was Suicune and Landorus on the board, but I still feel I traded cost effectively. Like I definitely traded in that sense instead of trying to like extreme speed go first, then try and like roll a high end hit. Because remember, I was double intimidated at that point, so that's why I didn't think it would really pick up the KO with extreme speed. I didn't know that much about the Suicune's EV spread at all. I noted that it took a ton of damage from Hyper Voice, so it probably had full HP defense investment. That's why I didn't really want to go for it. I felt I played pretty good in these games. I hope you enjoyed these games. If you like these type of battles, feel free to give the video a like or subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.